All right. I think we're live. So hopefully there's somebody watching. They can tell us if they can hear us, and if all's gone according to plan. They should be able to. So
Hello, guys.
yeah, as most of you probably know, this is Sam or Dr. Wynn, who runs the whole show here, and we owe everything to him. Um, So tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about Illuvium, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows what that is. And we'll maybe even get into a little bit of gameplay for two of their titles that are in beta right now. So we have the arena and the overworld. Illuvium Zero, you have to own land for that. So if anybody owns land and they want to talk about that, then that would be fantastic. But for now, um, let's see if we can't get a few people to roll in and answer a few questions. And yeah, just sort of chill for a few minutes before we really get into the thick of it.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a good opportunity for probably the first time I think that some people have been able to actually see some Illuvium gameplay. And in my opinion, from what I've seen, and definitely welcome to the feedback from anybody that's watching and listening to interject or debate this idea, but from what I can tell, Illuvium is probably one of the first AAA quality games that's out. I mean, they use an Unreal Engine 5. Uh, from just the project from beginning to this stage, I've seen them do a lot of things right. And I'm hoping that some of the other projects that we're all excited about that we'll probably talk about today, that they follow some of the recipe book that Illuvium has done of what's successful.
Right. Now, um, something to consider. Have you put an announcement out on N2E's Discord yet?
I can do that right now.
Might be good to get a few of the links out. Um, I'm not sure. I don't know. I know I can receive chat directly um to my desktop from Twitch. I don't think I'll be able to get it from YouTube and Kick without going directly to those platforms. Let me see if I can
Yeah, let
find.
me get also get the Twitch chat up so that we can answer any questions too as we go here.
Let's see. There's YouTube. If we've got anyone chatting. Let's see. There's YouTube. Okay. I don't see.
Yeah, I do see there's Intermatrix.
Intermatrix not. That will be Jupiter himself.
Okay, hi Jupiter. Christian is here as well. Hi Christian. Long time long time no chat. Christian,
Oh,
hope
that's
you're doing well.
strange. Okay, so I can see the chat in Twitch on Twitch, but I can't see it coming into Streamlabs for some reason. So we'll work on that at some point. I'll hit refresh and
Yeah,
see if that does.
I just went to the Twitch page directly. So
Yeah. Well, all right. Streamlabs, it can do a lot, but it can't do it all. So we'll chill on Twitch chat and see what people have to say. Um, yes,
all
good
right,
day, good day.
let me get an announcement out here.
Oh, if somebody wants to test this, I set up alerts, and so if you follow the Twitch channel, there should be a cool little banner that pops up. I don't think it has any sound effects, but if somebody wants to test that, that would be very, very kind of you. Um, I won't wait too expectantly though. So yeah, so the things about Illuvium that are maybe worth going over, right? So Oh, test the follower alerts. So there's a feature that allows us to have a little like celebratory banner pop up when someone follows the channel. So you followed and it didn't come up. Hmm. Okay, I'll have to address that. See what I can do. All right. So getting into Illuvium a little bit. The things I think maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago when I first became interested in like crypto and NFT space. Illuvium was definitely one of the first titles that I encountered. So it was always a big name, but it was always like there's a very high barrier to entry, or there always was a very high barrier to. I think that their token was around like anywhere from $200 to $500 a piece at the time, and so it was not for the faint of heart, right? And as a very green um, enthusiast, I shied away from Illuvia. Just sort of as a concept and a project, it was a hard community to sort of break into. But more recently, as time has gone on, I've realized that because I've always kept it in the back of my mind. I realized that I had been successful in getting a beta key to check out what they had so far. So I went and I took a look at it, and I realized that wow, this game is good. This game is really good. So I've been looking into it a little bit more recently, and what I found is that it's it's really something special. Like they've kind of done everything right in terms of capturing the game that you want to play, regardless of the fact that it is Web3 integrated. And that's really the quest, because I know talking with other people in the space, there is sort of an agreement that you can't have infinite money generation just from you know people trading NFTs with each other forever. Like there has to be input somewhere, and that has to come from people who just want to play the game because it's fun. You know, you can't have an army of 1,000 invest in the same game and all make money. It's not going to work that way. So you have to have a fun game that brings in money in some way, and Illuvium has got that. So for those of you that don't already know, Illuvium is at this point three separate games. It's a city builder with Illuvium Zero, that allows players to acquire resources with their land, and it's also an auto battler with Illuvium Arena that has like a survival mode auto battler thing. Um, a lot like other traditional auto battlers like the original Dota Underlords, um, which isn't really the original. There was something else before, but that was one of the first like big names, I guess. Um, and then it has the Illuvium Overworld, which is like, I guess, a movement game that ties into Illuvium Zero and the arena at the same time. Um, so I know that Sam, you had considered like Illuvium a big player like all along. So I guess you know what can you say about like any hesitations along the way, and or maybe what might what it has going for it and what it has going against it as far as you know.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I liked about it, what I was alluding to in the, when I was talking about it earlier is, and you mentioned is the value of the token, the value of some of the assets, things like that. It's if you look at a lot of these projects that are out that are play to earn projects, um, the values of their tokens have dropped by like 90% or more, and the Illuvium assets seem to be holding. Um, the just the popularity around like the Discord, the engagement of the community, and then just the quality of the game itself. It's I mean, once we look at it, it'll speak for itself. So it's smooth. The graphics look great. They used Unreal Engine 5, which I believe is probably the best standard that you can use out there if you want the highest quality, you know, gaming content that you can get. I mean, and Unreal Engine 5 is not just for games. We're seeing it used in movies and a lot of other places.
I don't want to make myself sound too stupid here. Um, I remember watching some stuff about the technology used for creating the Mandalorian some time ago, where they would have like 360-degree screens that they would use as like set. They would just have like a basically a giant VR set.
Right.
And I'm hesitant to say it, but I feel like Unreal was instrumental in that.
Yes, 100% right. Yep.
Okay,
Mandalorian is
okay.
one project. Another one is the newest Matrix as well.
Oh yeah, they made another one of those.
There's even
Right.
a documentary about it as well. Yeah, about
Interesting.
how they made it and how they used Unreal Engine 5 and all that. Um, we are actually in the
Yeah.
process of partnering with a studio here local in Las Vegas called Voo Studios.
Okay.
And as we want to do anything, they are a fully capable with, like you said, that green screen, but they do it in a digital way. Um, we'll have to just take you guys in and just show you guys a tour of it one of these days. I think that'll make a good video. We'll go into Voo Studios
Yeah, absolutely.
and show the community how it is that we're able to take the Unreal Engine technology and do that augmented reality, do that mixed reality, basically of taking, real objects and mixing them in with any type of environment and not being able to tell the difference between what's real and what's not.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly fun. To take a tour around a studio like that, man, I'd be interested in that just personally. Um, so yeah, I think back to what you were saying about the value of the assets in Illuvium, because I mean, looking at not just the concepts but also the effects and stuff in game, they have some of the most breathtaking effects that I've ever seen. Um, like not necessarily that it's perfect realism by any stretch, because like that isn't what it's aiming for. It's going for a stylized realism, but they're able to accomplish visual effects that I've just never seen attempted even. Um, but when what you were saying about like value of assets, so do you happen to remember how much land actually like auctioned for originally? Because I know,
I don't. Yeah, not
okay,
off the top of my head, but
because I know that their
I
token was between like $200 and $400 or $500
yeah,
back in like the
yep,
peak of 2021.
right.
Um, and
And that-
I know
That's
that
what about
you know
$46 right now? Is that right?
something in the $20 to $40 range, which is like scaling down by 10 times. But then and that sounds bad for a minute, but then you realize that like Gods Unchained, which should be by all stretch, by all like definitions, some kind of a standard for people to look at. Like it's
Hmm.
IMX's flagship, and it is a well-rounded, playable, fully operable platform and game. Like Gods Unchained's token peaked at $10 a token, and it's like 15 cents right now. Like
Yeah, and
the
that's what I mean. It's
market,
just like
the market got
everything has come
hit.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
everything's come down. I mean, even, the flagship coin, Bitcoin, has, still less than half of its peak.
right.
So everything did take a hit. But I mean, you put it in perspective, like you said right there, that's a great example. I mean, that's what's happened to 95% of the projects out there is they've lost more than 90% of their value across the board. Where, I mean, Illuvium, I'm seeing here a year ago, it looks like 180. I do remember seeing it at 200 at one point. Maybe it was a little higher, but still it's $47 today. It's not pennies, right? It's
No,
still
like
doubling its
there's
value.
double digits of dollars there.
Yeah.
There's real value there. And if you
Yep.
look, the cheapest piece of land right now should be about $580 roughly. for the
Yeah,
cheapest piece of tier 1 land available in Illuvium.
right.
That's that's not nothing.
Yep.
That's not nothing, you know. So yeah, their floor on land is still quite high, which means people are not they're not dumping. They're not dumping out of that project. People believe in it, you know, and they
Yeah.
want to keep what they initially invested in because they're planning to stay. They're there for the long haul, and that means a lot, you know, for a project like that. Now, I don't know. I don't know how much more. I don't know how much more pontificating we can do. I mean, I can pontificate with the best of them. Um, I don't know if anyone in in the audience and in any of the stream chats. I have Twitch chat open. So if you're on Kick or on YouTube or on Facebook, um, I would say like maybe just ping us in the Discord if you have a question and you're hanging out on one of those platforms. Um, with if you have a
Yeah,
question,
I agree because we're streaming on multiple platforms right now, and so it's going to be really inefficient for either of us to check every platform for where someone might be posting a question. But what we could easily have open is Discord open. So if if we don't see your question in one of the other platforms, go ahead and just ping us on Discord, and we'll certainly see it there. Just go to the general chat. I think it'd be perfect, and just post a question there. Um, and if you're unable to or if you don't know how to connect to our Discord, if you're new and you're joining one of the other platforms, you would go to nft2earn.com, and then there's a join Discord button there. Is easy, and it is also in the description of the of the platform that you're streaming on. It should be there, but if not, you can certainly go to nft2earn.com and click the join Discord button there. Um, One thing, if there is anyone out there that's watching, um, I don't know if you guys are more interested in gameplay or a combination of gameplay and maybe the opportunity to earn income from playing these games. But we'd love to hear some feedback on what the community is looking for and what you guys are most interested in seeing as we talk about these games and these different various projects that are out and available.
right? Because I can fire up Illuvium and I can show you guys some gameplay, and show you what how beautiful the game is. But if if you don't care, then we don't have to do that. We don't have to spend nearly as much time on it.
Yeah,
Yes,
or if you don't
yes,
care about the earnings potential side of it, then we don't have to dig into that side of it either, and we can focus more on the gameplay and the fun of it. And one thing that I did notice about Illuvium that I don't like, you guys that have gotten to know me know that I'm big on games that we can play together as a team, and where teamwork actually does matter. I haven't seen yet a massive amount of stuff in Illuvium that is going to cater to large guilds, large team play, anything like that. So it certainly looks like you can cooperate maybe with other people, but I'm really kind of see if there's going to be more content that's focused towards a team aspect. Some of the other projects that we're heavily involved in that you guys already know about, like Ember Sword and Planet Quest, they seem to be really big and focused
very
on the
very
team
heavily guild oriented those games.
guild
Yeah,
oriented and team focused and working together and in the guilds and the teams and communities like us that are organized and working together, and we have a plan, and we're already putting together teams today. It's why we're playing things like Albion Online, is we're putting together teams today that we already know how we all work together, that then we can take over. Those teams will be the first to be able to go into these projects. And we do own assets in Embersword. We are working on getting the asset situated with Planet Quest as well, and we're also going to be adding to our assets. We've got probably collectively community assets in Star Atlas, which is another UE5 game that you guys will want to definitely take a look at. I know most of you already know about it that have been here for a while, know about Star Atlas, but we've probably have got about 50,000 worth of assets um, that we spent initially. Obviously, today they're not worth that because, again, Star Atlas, just like all the other products, has taken a drop in value. They're probably 1/5 of that now in actual value, today's values, if you were to sell them. And then Emberstore, of course, we have our prized asset there. Now that's one asset that I think has also held its value pretty well. Um, it's difficult to say what an entire city would be sold for because there's never been a city put up for sale. No one's ever made any offers in an actual entire city. They have made offers on individual city plots, and it looks like those are anywhere between 5.5 to about 10 ETH per plot, which would put a city, an entire city, probably around 300 to 400,000, maybe, because there should be some premium of a collected city together.
That's not nothing.
And that's yeah, that's an asset. That's yeah, and we do. There's only four companies in the world that actually own a city, and for those that are new here that don't know us yet, we actually do own one of those cities. So that is an opportunity for people that are looking at the play to earn side of it to connect with us and have access to the amenities of that city as being part of our community and be able to earn more than you would if you didn't own any assets in the game.
Now, sorry to sidetrack. Funny little piece of background um, housekeeping, I guess. I'm looking at the Twitch stream and I see that it says it has our title correctly, but it hasn't updated our activity correctly. So it might be worth heading
So,
into the creator dashboard and updating the game because it says that we're playing Nino Kuni, not Illuvia.
mm, okay,
Um,
so the title is correct. What says
title's
it's on
correct, but it
Illuvium,
hasn't updated the
right?
tags or the activity, which I
All
think is
right.
probably just a
So
product of the fact that it's logged into um, my own
yeah,
Twitch and Streamlabs, but it will let me
so we'd
multi-stream.
have to go directly to Twitch for this, right?
Yes. We can
Okay.
probably sort that by having me log into Streamlabs through the actual, like through your Twitch account. So we'll do that for tomorrow, hopefully, and get that fixed.
Let me see. Would that be under the creator dashboard?
Yes, under Creator Dashboard, you should be able to find. Let me go alongside you here. Stream Manager, what you'll want,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
then it should let you edit stream info. It's the big pencil icon.
Okay. Let's talk Illuvium. Play to crypto, play to earn, and
It's a
edit stream
category.
info. Yep. Let's talk Illuvium. NFT turn went live. Okay, there it says Nino Kuni category. Okay, so I can delete it.
Yep. And put Illuvium in there. And then we can fire
Okay,
that up and we'll have done our due diligence. And
there we are.
they won't be mad at us.
Illuvium has 1.3 thousand followers. Is that the right one I would pick?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Should be very purple and colorful.
It's kind of blue.
Yeah,
A lot of blue.
that should be it. The
If it's not right, you guys can tell me. I have updated it.
Yeah, that's absolutely it.
Perfect.
It's funny, no
Excellent.
one else is streaming for Illuvium, so it's just us.
Well, and that's what I was saying at the beginning too, that you were lucky enough to get an opportunity to access the beta. I don't know how many thousands of people there is that had access, but you've got to think that out of those people, how many are actually going to be streamers, right? Too.
Yeah.
So
And it's
it's pretty cool.
strange because like it says, as in the email that gives beta access, it says feel free to share your share your experiences online. Like it's not some sort of hush hush closed alpha with an NDA. It's like
Right.
absolutely you can show everyone this. We want the advertising. So
Well, this
um
is cool that this is probably some of the first Illuvium content being shared then of actual gameplay.
yeah, there's some YouTube videos out there, but I haven't seen
Yep.
anyone streaming it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's
It'll be
see if
good.
my computer will be okay running
Where do
everything
we
else.
see how many people are actually watching the Twitch stream? Oh, four right now. I see it right there at the top. Okay.
Let me put on performance mode here in Streamlab. close up some stuff so that it's not too taxing, and then we'll get started. And if anyone says anything in the chat, you're gonna have to tell me because, well, actually, no, it is window. Let's find. And I'll get myself all logged in before I switch the scene. Oh, I can follow NFT to earn myself. Haven't done that. Yeah, so where's everyone coming from? I'm curious. I know that there's probably a few of my own contemporaries here, but people coming in from NFT to earn. What's are we all Albion
Yeah, I
people?
know Christian is from the Philippines, and Miss Mon is here in the U.S. with me. And I don't know. Let's see. We know Robert, and then there's three more people that we don't know where they're from
The
or how they
lurkers.
found us. Anybody new here that's never
Anybody
heard or
find
seen of us?
themselves here and have no idea what's going on? You're the real star of the show.
They're like, what is Illuvium and why do we care?
I mean, that should really be the stream title, shouldn't it?
Yeah, actually, that is so let's talk Illuvium.
Yeah, what is Illuvium and why do we care? Man, I could do that right
Can we
now.
can we change that right now?
Absolutely. Let's
That's a
let's
good idea.
do it.
So we got
Did it work?
crypto, we got play to earn. Wonder if we could put maybe Unreal Engine 5 as a keyword, maybe, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are interested in Unreal Engine 5 projects and games.
Are my tags actually working? I don't think that they are. I think
I see crypto and play to earn.
yeah, I think you have to do tags in the creator dashboard.
Edit quick actions, pop out, edit layout. Let's see, where is that at? Analytics, content, clips.
All right, I'm gonna transition us to Illuvium real quick.
Oh yeah,
So get a load of that. Righty. Now, there's a bit to take in here. So we've got two titles here that are accessible from this app, and there's a training mode and a competitive mode in Illuvium Arena survival mode, which is what you can access. Training mode lets you see the daily set. So every day they get a new set of creatures and a new set of rounds in survival mode that you have to fight through. And then competitive just has a leaderboard so people can compete and you have a timer between rounds. And then we have the overworld, which is where you run around and you explore and try and capture, illuvials and build your team. And I think that the overall premise of the game is the idea that you are working to gather resources and gather illuvials because your ship is broken and you're stranded on an alien. Now, what gathering illuvials has to do with fixing your ship, I have no idea. But, it's not for me to know. So I think the first thing that we should do, just to cover all of the bases, is to quickly go over the training. So I'll load us into one of those, and then I'll sort of walk you through the basic idea. And then once you get into overworld, you get into sort of some more complicated interactions of, how the gameplay loop pulls you in a variety of different directions to gather different resources and stuff. So anyone who's familiar with auto battlers will understand the concept of like tribes and classes and things like that, and synergies, right? And the special abilities of different tribes and stuff like that. So Illuvium is no different, except that when it comes to accessing certain classes, so we call them affinities and classes in Illuvium. When it comes to accessing these, there's some interesting interactions with how these things are created. So the enemy that we're dealing with here is a fire affinity rogue class, and that basically all we need to know is that this guy is going to jump back here, and as a rogue he hits really, really hard. Now here we have the ranger, who, we always have a ranger, and the thing that makes the ranger special isn't so much that the ranger is good at fighting, because let's be real, 400 HP, 1360 HP, 73 damage on this guy, and 45 damage on the ranger. The ranger is good for synergies, because the ranger can adopt the synergy of one of her alluvials, and she can pull out a gun, which has a variety of synergies depending on which one you choose. Now you'll see these little this little yellow coin thing next to it. Down here, they're called mastery points. And in the survival mode, you start with 150, and you basically want to pass every possible, because they accrue interest in the fashion of a lot of these kinds of auto battlers. So in order to beat this guy, he's tier 2, or not tier 2, but evolution 2 fire. So to beat him, we're probably going to want something of comparable strength. Let's have... And I'm really not finding a lot of stuff that's particularly strong and inspiring. This guy would absolutely do it if he could survive long enough. Although, I bet this guy survive. Let's have this guy. We'll put him back here so that he takes aggro. So you'll see we've got air here and bulwark from this guy. Now, air basically revolves around dodge chances, and it also increases the energy cost of the Omega ability of the enemies, but dodge chance, it does exactly what you would imagine it does. Now, you'll find this with most all of the base elemental affinities, that as you get, 3, 5, or 7 of them, it will increase the, the dodge chance or the damage or whatever, depending on what element it is, of the entire team, but it will increase the, the features of its own elemental affinity, users more so than the others, right? So if you have 3 fire guys, they'll get 50 damage, and everyone else on the team will get 20 or something like that. And then you have bulwark here, which just increases, armor and energy resistance kind of thing. And there are 8 affinities, and or rather, we've got 5 base affinities and 5 base classes, and then every single one of those has combinations, either by combining you know, 2 air, you get like typhoon, or if you combine 2 water, you get tsunami. If you combine water and fire, you get steam. That's only relevant for higher tier illuviums. So like down here, you're gonna see everyone is like, you know, these base things like water scion or earth bulwark. But when you come way up here, you get like Inferno Phantom and Magma Behemoth and Frost Behemoth and that kind of thing, which is really fun. So let's start this round and see how it goes. There's a fairly good chance that I miscalculated and we're just gonna die. So this guy builds up energy by attacking and being attacked, and he's gonna smack the hell out of the dude. When my guy's done being silenced, he's gonna stun this guy, and then we're gonna take him down the rest of the way. Now you see this tiny little yellow bar. He's dead now, but that tiny little yellow bar is the hyper meter. And of course, you have everyone has like their sort of dominant element. So like you'll see this guy is an Inferno, but he's fire dominant. This guy is Magma, which is a combination of fire and earth, but he's earth dominant, which means that in his lower evolutionary stages, he's an earth creature. Right? And that basically has 2 functions. One is if I put this guy down on the field and then I do this and I select him, it's going to assign the ranger an earth affinity instead of a fire affinity. In order for me to get a magma affinity, I would need to select earth there, and then I would need to equip a fire gun, which I don't have. Hope that makes some sense. It is very, very difficult to understand just like off, you know, just off rip. But it makes sense after you play with it for a little. Let's see. So we've got a fighter here. Another fighter there. Nothing too scary. I'm gonna get rid of this guy, and I'm gonna get some up. See if I can synergy.
And guys, I'm getting a lot of direct messages about questions about the stream and maybe some technical issues and things like that.
Uh-oh.
Try to post those either in the general chat or even in one of the chats here, one of the stream chats, whichever one you're watching. That way we don't miss questions, because if I get too many direct messages, I might not be able to get to them all, especially as we get, you know, imagine one day we're gonna have thousands of people, so we kind of need to use a chat forum where we can all see it. You know, don't feel like we need to, if we're gonna have technical issues, it doesn't need to be hidden from anybody. Just let us know and we'll go in and fix it.
Yeah, what was the technical issue, and when was it, and how long have I been talking to no one?
The one that you already figured out on your own, the Ni no Kuni was the title, and yeah, that was one of them. And then there was what Jupiter did post there in general chat that he lagged for about 8 seconds, or he thought the stream lagged for about 8 seconds. So
okay,
it seemed like it was fine on my end, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've got 0 dropped frames, everything's stable, quality is good. So I think that would either be on Twitch's end, or it would be, well, depending on which streaming outlet. So let's see if I can't get a synergy going, so that people can sort of see what that looks like. Let's do a couple of scions. Pixels. So let's see. Are we getting like fuzzy image in the stream, do you mean?
Oh, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, I'm not getting that either on my feed.
Yeah, who did somebody say that to you? Because I didn't see anything about quality.
Miss Morgan just posted pixels in Twitch chat.
Oh, okay. Questions.
If you go to settings and you change the quality on the Twitch stream from auto to 720 60 frames per second, that should help in case Twitch is like scaling it down. Yeah, that happens sometimes. You'll find that the quality tends to be better on Twitch for visuals or YouTube. I know that Kick struggles with the downscaling a little bit.
What
Um,
stream was she watching it on?
I think Twitch, so
She
it
was on
should be
Twitch. Okay.
okay. But I think that'll just be like a momentary hiccup in your internet connection. Um, but anyway, let's take a look at this, and I'll put a couple of scions down. And Earth Scion would be interesting. Or I'll just copy one of these guys. So now we've got Scions. Now, Scion's Synergy gives 50 Omega Power for all of the Scions, and basically that's just a multiplier for their special ability. So these guys will do 85 damage, multiplied by their Omega Power, which is just a percentage, so they'll do 150% of that. But they'll do it, 10 times over the course of 2 seconds or something? They'll do it 7 times or so. So yeah, as long as these guys don't die, they will do an obscene amount of damage, which is really how Scions tend to be.
The title? So I actually still see Let's Talk Illuvium.
I did update that. I'm gonna refresh the Twitch page and it should change. Oh, nope. Didn't work for some reason. So I would say
if we could have someone go over to the other platforms. It sounds like there's some people that are connected on YouTube.
Okay. Let me
if there is
check.
Someone in chat, not one of us. Maybe someone that's in chat could maybe check YouTube, and if anybody can connect to Kick. I'm curious if we've got anybody there.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
Exactly.
Bandung Club. Hi guys, notice me. I notice you. Sorry,
Exactly.
I'm sorry you're all
And,
alone over there.
We're on, I think, 4 different platforms right now. Is that right? So
yeah, I just popped out the YouTube chat, so I'll just have that sitting. Shamefully, I don't have multiple monitors, so I'll just do a whole bunch of chat pop-outs.
yeah, Aiden, Twitch is going to be, probably the most popular for a while, but Kick is growing really fast. They had, I want to say it was just a few months ago, they had about 1 million followers, and they went from 0 to 1 million in I think 60, I want to say 69 days, if my memory's correct. And then shortly after that, they went to like 5 million. And then in like another like 20 or 30 days after that, they went to like over 15 million. So Kick is growing fast. So that's why we want to be on Kick. Of course, we want to be on Twitch because we still have 1,600 followers on Twitch. Yeah, so Aiden's asking about Dota 2.
Dota 2. What about Dota 2? Anything in particular?
In a few days, there's supposed to be a major Dota 2 tournament.
Oh.
Aiden, do you mind posting that maybe in general chat? The questions? That way I don't miss any other questions.
I wonder if this setup will actually work for this guy. So we'll do one more of these, and then we'll head into try to. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do something crazy. Let's try a couple of huge guys, just so you can see what cool synergy we can pull off. We can pull it off. So in order to get Behemoth, I think Behemoth is like Bulwark Fighter, Elite, Fighter Dominant. Dang, that's not gonna be doable right now. But we've got double Behemoth synergy, which you'll notice with these like special like higher tier synergies, they only work for the people who have them. Same with like Frost and Magma. So Frost isn't gonna work for just every water unit ever. It's only for the frost, and same with magma. So, let's see. Earth here, and fire. We can do water and water. So no, we can't get anything too crazy. But let's see these guys slap it out. Whoops. Yeah, the camera controls in this mode are a little bit weird, but there you can reposition the camera, which is nice to be able. You have to use it going sideways to go frontwards and backwards, unfortunately. But anyway, let's dip out of this and check out the overworld, because this is the pretty part, right? This is the bit that wins awards more than likely. Let's take a look. What do we see in the Discord?
We can. Let me see if I can get that loaded up on my end. For the YouTube. I also want to take a look at the Facebook.
All right. And yeah, so Adensis, I'm not sure if I am saying that correctly at all, but yeah, I can see the YouTube chat now. I have a pop-up of that. So if you want to type something in there, I should be able to read it back to you. Assuming that it didn't just like cease connection because I closed the YouTube tab. But oh wow, I guess I'm just in this area. So here we are. This is the Abyssal Basin. I'll show you Sancta Mesa, which is like the sort of the base area a little later. But let's kind of get an idea of what's going on here. So this is the pillar. This will allow me to travel back to my home base. And every one of the areas, the center of the area has one of these big pillars, right? Or obelisks. Now, I have, right now, a little less energy. It looks like I've used 25 energy for something. But you start with 5,000 energy when you enter. And the reason that that's important is because a lot of actions require a little bit of energy, and so it just limits how much you can do in a single trip to a zone, which presumably will cost fuel, which is a resource that you get from land. So there's that limiting factor. Now this is a tier 0 zone, so it's totally free to play, and it doesn't actually cost anything at all to get here. So I'm just running around on this platform. You'll notice if I jump into the water down here, it's not water, it's acid, and I will die. As you can see. And get immediately teleported back to the obelisk here. So in order to get around, we kind of have to avoid that. So we can jump to these things. I mean, I have my jetpack upgraded enough that I can just go across here anyway. So we need to avoid the acid swamp. Run around on these cool little islands and things. Some are bigger than others. And these giant mushrooms that are insanely cool. One thing that we can do is we can open up the map. Now, I've already apparently been all over this place in this particular instance, but you can turn on the heat map. The heat map will show you where there are items that you can collect. Now, I've gone south, which is wrong. I need to go north. So let's do that. That little pink bar down at the bottom, that just shows how much fuel I've got left for my... Well, this is a very unhelpful direction. For my jetpack or my magnets. Oh, I hope I don't run out before I make it. Good. You need a supercomputer to play. So, funny question, right? Basically, you know, when you play this game in full screen, it won't let you play it in anything other than 4K resolution. So if you're playing it in full screen, absolutely you need a supercomputer to play. However, you can actually lower the graphical settings quite a bit, and I imagine that there will be quite a bit of optimization that will happen before they actually like release the game. Something to bear in mind is that Illuvium 0 is not at all graphically intensive, and Arena is a lot less so than the Over. But I am running on like a 1080 Ti graphics card, and it's pretty comfortable, I would say. But if you were to go with something much lower than that, you might start to struggle. I think I have like 16 gigs of memory. So, yeah, you know, you're gonna need like a PC that can run an Unreal 5 game. That's kind of how I would put it. So anyway, Illuvium is definitely, you know, AAA quality, AAA requirements kind of a thing. It's not as kind as some of the other titles in space. Should be able to find something to collect around pretty soon. One thing you can do is you can hit the Q button, and that will show you, at least within a limited range, stuff that you can... Ah. There is something that we can interact with. Okay, so there's a few things over there that we can interact with. One is an alluvial portal, and the other is that there's some mineable rock. So
Gotcha.
I'll get that. So basically, alluvials don't actually... They're not physically in the world. They are in, like, sort of a pocket dimension, generally, and they leave behind, like, this sort of transdimensional weight. So you shoot it with your dimension stabilizer gun, which, of course, the bullets have an arc if you don't charge it. So it's pretty easy to miss at longer ranges. But yeah, so then, you know, we can interact with that in just a minute. So then you also have these mining sites. So you can scan them to see if they're actually worth doing much with, because, you know, energy costs. And this is tier 0, so I don't really care. You need everything that you can get. You need an absolute boatload of these little rocks in order to craft, like, you know, upgrades. You use these mostly for upgrades to your drone and your ag boots and your jetpack. But let's take a look at this, which is sort of the interesting thing. All right, so we can scan this so that we can get a preview of what the battle is. And we're seeing nothing particularly difficult, so we'll take this fight.
Here we go.
Hey, Cube, what's up? Good to see you in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, somebody did say in the Facebook group, what about Twitter? That's the one we haven't set up yet, is Twitter Spaces. That's probably
Yep.
next on the list.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Twitter doesn't have video, right?
I don't know.
Because if
I've
Twitter doesn't have
never
video,
tried
we're
to.
going to feel very strange,
Yeah.
talking over gameplay that no one can see.
Let's see.
But,
Continue on. I'll research that while you're.
alright, so every time you enter into because, the overworld interacts with the arena gameplay. So when you stabilize a rift and you choose to go into a battle, you'll have whatever alluvials are in that rift, and you have to, using whatever alluvials you bring. Can I play this also and set my stream again? I don't know. If you have a beta key to Illuvium, then absolutely, yeah, you can. And is it launched now? So it's currently in a beta access. So people who applied for beta keys, which you might actually still be able to apply for one, and they might give it to you. I'm not sure, but yeah. So people with a beta key are allowed to play it, test it, report bugs, and also distribute information about it, like make videos and stream it. So yeah, you'll see this bar up here has 212, and you'll see down here we have 500 mastery points to go around. So we spend these to place our guys, and simultaneously as we spend these, this number goes down. So something that you want to bear in mind when you are choosing how many of your guys to place, because obviously, like, I could just load this thing up with everybody I got. But the problem is now there's only 2 of these left, right? And that's not going to work too well, because you have to spend these after you presumably win the battle. When you win the battle, you spend these things that are remaining on your capture attempts of each one of these guys. And as soon as you run out, the dimension closes and you're out of attempts and you can't do any more. So you want to be kind of conservative with your placements. Now, I'm going to try doing, let's see, I have this thing, awesome. Yeah, let's do triple tsunami. So tsunami is a really interesting. This is going to be a disaster, by the way. This is a really terrible choice, but it's very cool, and it'll also show off one of the coolest effects, the visual effects, that is. So, tsunami affinity. Basically, every time one of these guys uses their ability, it's going to regenerate 55% of their energy when I have 3 of them. This character here cannot attack. His only function is to use his ability, and his ability heals all allies for 520 over 4 seconds. By the time the heal is over, he's casting the ability again. This guy is such a good support unit, and the effect on his ability is so cool. This guy is just a tank, really. So what we want to do is maybe, yeah, we'll give ourselves some HP. We'll sit back, and the timer will run out, and then we won't actually be able to capture anybody afterwards because it'll take forever for us to actually win this fight. But it's gonna look cool as hell. Also, this character is so charming. Let's go. So his ability gives him a huge shield, and this guy is just going to keep him healthy. And hopefully it's going to be enough. No, I don't think it's going to be enough. We're going to die. Okay, we made foolish choices. But also, look at that rainbow. Look at those water effects. Very cool stuff. So we lost that fight, and that is what it is. I've played this before. I forgot the NFT, but it's the same gameplay style and camera view. Yeah, so this is a very simple, like, auto, like, the arena is very much just a traditional auto battler kind of a thing, but it's, you know, it's using Illuvium's Pokemon, for lack of a better word. So let's,
right?
yeah, Illuvials. It's funny, I got into a conversation with somebody in the Illuvium Discord about the Illuvatars, and alluvial avatars, Illuvatars, it makes sense, but also a lot of people got very upset about the overlap with Eru Illuvatar from Tolkien's writing. So they accused of foul play and all kinds of stuff, and I was like, guys, this is clearly just a logical progression of language. Chill. Wow, I don't think I've seen that.
We need to.
That's cool.
Aiden might be actually onto something here. If there is a major tournament coming out with Dota 2 in a few days, that might be something that we want to look into covering some info on that, maybe, because we are going to be streaming every week, guys. We have a regular streaming schedule, and we'll get that schedule will go out in announcements here soon, so you guys will be able to know the exact times of when you can expect us to be on streaming. And yeah, any ideas for content that you think we should share, just like Aiden has done here in the general chat on our Discord, definitely let us know.
Yeah, for sure. I have most of my MOBA experience in League, but I've played a fair amount of Dota as well. Oh no, I've died. I've played a little bit of Dota, so I could at least give some vague commentary on that. Or I could certainly be willing to make a fool of myself. I'm always happy to do that.
Yeah, yeah, Aiden, and really kind of for everybody out there too, if we know of anybody that plays these games and can also stream, of course, you know, like Aiden said, you know, good English as well too, so that that it can be communicated effectively. Yeah, just let us know if you guys know of anybody. Have them contact us. You know, we definitely need more streamers. Our goal is to get to streaming 24/7. And the content that we're putting out, it's not for us, it's for you guys. So we want to be able to bring good, valuable information that's going to help you in maybe just the games that you're interested in playing from a gameplay perspective. Find others to play with when we're putting together teams. Talk about different strategies in the games that can be competitive and win. You know, for the competitive players that maybe want to play tournaments and, you know, earn an income from winning in these different tournaments. We do have a big tournament that's coming up in Albion as well, so people want to get ready for that. And then on the play to earn side, you know, talk about you know, where's the alpha, where's the good opportunities that you know, which projects should we be looking at?
Okay, I've never seen this. This is very cool. Like a... oh shit. Oh no! I fell out. Yeah, the fun thing about this game is, like, it is... like... Pokemon met, like, auto battler met 3D platformer, like Warframe movement game kind of a thing. Oh no. Donna died again. How embarrassing. So that's quite enough of that. I think I will show you guys the base, because that is pretty important to how this game works. So first thing I'll show you is the different tiers of areas that you can go to and sort of what that's about. So here at the obelisk in Sancta Mesa, which is sort of the base, you can select travel, and you can go to Abyssal Basin, which is where we just were, Brightland Steppes, and the Crimson Waste. Now, Brightland Steppes and Abyssal Basin are new with this beta, and Crimson Waste is actually being updated right now from the original beta. So Crimson Waste is definitely less. It doesn't have as high of a quality as these two other areas. I think Brightland Steppes is probably the most impressive area, though, in terms of achievements. But let's, before we go there, because one thing you need to bear in mind is that you can go there to on stage 0, which is, you can gather basic resources, and it doesn't cost you any fuel. This fuel, during the beta, everybody gets 5,000 a day, but when the game actually launches, you'll only be able to get fuel from land or buying it from landowners for ETH. Stage 1 costs 375 fuel, 2 is 1,099 fuel, and stage 3 is 3,499. Now, the difference between the stages, honestly, at stage 1, you can find tier 5 alluvials. Like, you can find any alluvial, but what you can't find is mineable resources that you need in order to catch them. So stage 3 does become necessary in order to get those very high tier alluvials. But for now, I'm going to show you the base. And I think we'll walk there instead of teleporting, because you can teleport over here as well, but that takes the fun out of it. So let's see sort of what we're looking at. Get a load of those light effects, though. Look at that coming through the trees. Awful good.
So I'm actually watching the Facebook stream right now on our I Love Blockchain Gaming page on Facebook, and it looks like it's
working all right.
Yeah, it's working great. It has closed captions, so there's
oh, that's fantastic.
For some reason somebody can't hear, they can read what we're talking about.
Yeah, I remember when I would do shows with Hopeful in Planet Quest, we had one of our fellow mods, Nuri, who was from South Korea, would request that we used some sort of a translation software, and we just didn't have something that could do that for Discord.
What I wonder
that's very
is,
helpful.
Natively, does Facebook do that? So when it's translating, is it, if someone's viewing this in a different language, if they're going to be able to see those closed captions in their language or not? Aiden, you're watching. Are you? Well, you're on the YouTube. I wonder if you're able to pull it up through Facebook and maybe test that, or someone, anybody can, anybody that speaks an alternate language, if there's a way to have Facebook translate it.
Now down there you saw we had just like a little console that we could interact with the arena game like fully from. Over here, or wait, no, over here, I think we have the leaderboard, which just shows who has been able to basically get the most and, the coolest loot from any given area in the shortest amount of time. So we've got a top 6 right now, who have been able to get some really spicy stuff from probably tier 3 zones. I've never found anything close to that much loot, but that's because I haven't played this that much, and I have a pretty small squad. Then we have over here the forge, and over there is the inventory. Now, first, we're going to want to take a look at the forge, because there's an awful lot going on here. So in here, you can craft a variety of different weapons that you can use to give your ranger different synergies, as well as some armor to make it bigger. And there's a lot of resource requirements. Now, you can gather most of these things for these lower tier things in tier 1 zones. But when you get looking at much higher tier stuff, you're looking at, things that you'll probably find more readily in the higher tier zones, as well as weapon components and armor components and drone components and stuff. at crafting your own stuff. Now, the main thing to bear in mind with that is that in order to get that stuff for equipment or weapons or drone components and things like that, you basically just have to craft basic gear and then melt it, and then you can make advanced gear. Then you have to make a bunch of advanced gear, melt it, and then you can make supreme gear and so on. Like that's sort of the way that works. So you have a very long grind to get to the best. There's augments, which you have to gather these components from plants that you find around. Shards, which drop randomly from the different like mining like monoliths. These have different tiers, so these shard fragments you can use to capture the tier 0 alluvials. The common shards you can use to try to capture any alluvial, but they're going to have the most, most of your use here is going to be for tier 1s. These you're going to use probably to capture tier 2 and 3s. These you can use to capture 3s and 4s. These you can use to get 4s or 5s, and these you'll use to guarantee that you're getting it. So I would say. You'll find these in tier 3, find these in tier 2, or even in tier 1. Very occasionally find these. These you'll find in tier 1 frequently enough, and these you'll find all the time in tier 2. Gemstones, you use these to make weapons. And then you have alluvials. Now, you find alluvials usually in their lesser form, but you can sometimes find them in their greater form. If you do find them in their greater form out in the overworld, you want to try to capture them because they're basically just worth 3 captures. So it's just a lot of to do that. So the ones that you've seen so far out there... Oh, go ahead.
I have. Can a new player that's playing that hasn't bought any land or any assets, are they able to capture those? And
so the idea is that when the game launches, these tier 0 guys that you find in stage 0 instances of the overworld, anybody can capture these, but only if you have like, I guess, a wallet hooked up and all of that stuff, then you can mint 2 NFTs. And as soon as you get into tier 1 stuff, like, you can't interact any of these different alluvials. You can't find these in tier 0, but you can find any of them after tier 1. Right?
Okay.
So tier 0 is really the free-to-play experience, which is honestly still pretty cool. You can do quite a lot. And these alluvials are honestly very, very good, because every player is going to start here. If you are new and you have nothing and you go into tier 1, you're going to get your ass handed to you. So you have to play in tier 0 for a little while. Get maybe a few, fully upgraded guys, of whatever element and whatever class suits your fancy. And then venture into tier 1. See what you find there. I really, really like this guy. I ground to get this guy. I want to like this guy. He's very cool. He's kind of bad, though. And at the moment, this is all that they've released for tier 1. This guy is very good. I think he's broken. He's just broken. He's too strong. It's not fair. Tier 2 is all the lynxes. There are more that will be in tier 2 eventually, but this is sort of the Eevee of Illuvium, let's be real. It can evolve, so when you find lynxes, they're these little kittens, and then you combine them into any of these different classes, and then you can combine them with gems to give them an element. And of the classes, they all do the same thing, basically, but each of the elements has its own twist. So, like, say, the Virtuous Lynx it does a heal. So, over 5 seconds, it heals 6% of the missing health, and it also grants people in an area around it 3 energy per second. So water generally interacts with energy. That's just sort of what the water element. This adds grit and resolve. Beats the hell out of me what grit and resolve does. I assume it's something like tenacity or like stun resistance or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Yeah,
Right.
possibly maybe defense.
The fire element, this gives a damage buff to everyone in the which makes sense. The fire creatures all do a lot of damage.
When you say everyone, are you bringing out like a group of your own Illuviums, or is this if you're playing with other people?
This is so you go into each battle with your like little deck is
Team
what
of
they call it. Yeah,
deck
your
of
team.
Illuvials. Yeah,
So
yeah.
um I would have this guy with maybe a couple of other fire guys, and so when this guy charges up his ability and heals, if they're standing close enough to him, then they'll get healed and they'll also get a damage. Nature element just heals for more than everyone else. That's what they do. They heal a lot. And then this guy, the air element, grants dodge chance as a general. Then you've got all of these interesting guys in the tier 3. Tier 3 doesn't have that many different dudes, but they're pretty good. This guy jumps the back line and attacks very fast. This guy has like a charm and he can drop aggro. This guy does an insane amount of damage. And he's a little anteater guy. And as some of you will probably know, anteaters are very dangerous. And this guy is a scorpion. And that's all you need to know. I think Umbra is very strong. This is a big tanky dude. This guy is like a DPS character, another tank. This is the guy I was showing you earlier. He heals everybody, and it's very strong. I like this character a lot. Then we have tier 5. This is, I think, this is like considered the poster child in some regards. If you look through like IMX and you look at the different Illuvitars, most of the Illuvitars are like sub-dollar price to get one, and then you look at the Ramfire Illuvitars and they're like $2,000. Like people value this guy. He's just good and cool, I guess. But honestly, all of the tier 5s are really cool. This thing is really broken. It does an insane amount of damage to one guy. It's just like, it's like Zeus striking someone down with a thunderbolt. It's just insane. They're very cool. They're very easy to like, and it's very easy to get addicted to the idea of, I just want to get my Axodon before I go to bed, right? Very easy to get into that mindset. And then here you have locker storage. So this will show you, you know, for me, this is all of the alluvials that I've gathered that are not currently in my deck, right? So this is everything that I've just sort of amassed. Couple of interesting guys. But then I have in my inventory, I can show you, this is what I bring into the overworld. So if I go travel somewhere, this is what I have to select from if I want to fight. There are the shards that I have. So when I run out of these, I can't collect any more alluvials. Equipment loadout I have, the mods I have for my drone, the weapons that I'm bringing, the armor that I'm bringing, map. And if I'm out in the world, this will show me everything that I've obtained so far. In YouTube, I cannot see the live chat. You can't see the live chat, or I can't see the live chat. Has somebody been typing in there that I haven't known about, or? That's strange. There should be a button that brings up chat, though. Not sure what that would be about. But let's show you guys something cool. So we're gonna teleport back over to the obelisk, and I'm gonna show you guys my favorite area, which is Brightland Steps, which is honestly just a masterpiece. I've not seen grass effects that look this good in any other game. And to be sure, maybe I just haven't played enough games, but the grass looks great. And the movement sort of elements of the game is probably the most important in this specific area over any other.
Yeah, somebody was saying that, or Cube was actually saying that it looks like Big Time. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to look at the game Big Time.
I don't think so. Is that what? Tell me about it. I'm not familiar.
I have not actually seen live gameplay myself, or haven't experienced it yet. Yeah, I guess I've seen it briefly, but Cube would actually probably know more about it. I think Cube, you've played Big Time, right?
Got it. I'll take it.
Yeah, the one thing that I can say, and like, you know, no disrespect, I don't mean to talk shit, but they'll want to update their voiceover work for the ranger. Some of her lines are difficult to listen to, for sure, especially on repeat with how few of them there seem to be.
Yeah, I do see that the chat is disabled for the YouTube stream. Let me see if I can fix that somehow.
Wonder why that would be.
Let's get started.
I don't know.
Same graphics and map style in Big Time. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah. Taking a look right now, seeing if I can find the setting for that.
So here we go again. We've got 2 air rogues and 1 earth scion. Nothing too crazy. I have never failed with a squad of 3 fighters. You can't lose. So here we go. So we're just gonna let the ranger get mugged while these guys beat up this other dude. These guys, they just like punching stuff. And they do it so well. They're kind of like little owls that like to punch stuff and look a little bit like Sylvester Stallone. It's great. So now that we've actually won the fight, we get into this scene where you can see that they're kind of like bound a little bit by these little circles around them, and we get to throw shard fragments at whichever one we want. So this guy here is a greater Airvolante, so we're going to try to capture him because he's basically just worth 3 of the lesser one, because he's essentially already been evolved. And then we get to pull our hair out while we wait to see whether our drone actually succeeds or fails, because he likes to fail whenever it counts. Like that. What a little shit. Alright, we try again. And as you saw before, this resource went down by 30 or so, or like 25. So now when I try this again, it's going to collapse the dimension. So this is our last try. If we fail this, we just see this comes in as soon as this goes down. So if we fail this, we don't get anything from this fight, which is sad. But you try again. Yay, we succeed. So now we've got this guy, and we can probably turn him into a Evolution 3 version. But alas, we are down to negative 15 stability, and the dimension collapses. Now, instead of hunting alluvials, I'm going to show you guys the view, because honestly, that's probably the coolest part of Brightland Steppes, is just the view and the level design. Definitely hard to overstate that. So here we are in the middle, this little basin. You see all these massive pillars and these big high up spaces, and we can get up to those. We can actually just walk up there. We'll do a bit of jumping along the way. There are bubbles that you can see floating around, and you can actually ride up onto some of these in those bubbles. But I think we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, because it just goes to show you that the level is designed in such a way so that, especially once you have some of the upgraded movement tools, you can kind of get anywhere that you can see. And that just feels good, right? It is a level, it's not an open world fully, but anything that's inside the dimension dome that you can see around there, that purpley sheen of hexes, anything that's inside that, you can see it, you can get to it. And you can certainly fall down into the abyss and, you know, fall off the world and have to get teleported back to the obelisk, but yeah, what's visible is achievable. Also, if any of you guys are familiar with the Giant's Causeway, this is very reminiscent of that. These sort of hexagonal pillars jutting up. That's actually a real geological formation that happens sometimes. And this is inspired by that. There's a place in Ireland that has something that looks an awful lot like this. Oh, let's see what we got here. Maybe something good.
This looks good. Got it.
Oh dear.
I'll take it.
Yeah, those two lines are the ones that really bother me. They're super cringe to me. They sound like someone I went to high school with, and it's not a good feeling. Yep, we can make it up to that. And here we are. Made it up. Look at this grass. Look at it blowing in the breeze. It's so peaceful. You just want to live here.
I'll use it.
And I've in my experience, there's always a lot of alluvials hanging around up here.
Gotcha. This looks good.
Maybe there's something good here. We'll find out. Nope. There's this huge skeleton over here, which I have no idea what that is. You know, something large that died. It's a very difficult area to navigate over there. I've been down there a few times, but it's just kind of, I don't know, a little more trouble than it's worth. Let's take a look over here. Let's go up there. Why not?
All right. You guys want to see if the chat works now on YouTube? I think it does. It was working initially.
Speed running effect is the same as big time. I wonder whether or not that is a feature of
Unreal Engine 5, possibly.
yeah, a feature of like overlap in tools and assets, like if in case they're, you know, buying assets from the Unreal store. Or yeah, you can ride up in these bubbles and it's very cool. Or if that is just like the general like Web3, everybody's kind of share stealing each other's ideas. Like if you look at, you know, a bunch of the projects that I'm familiar with anyway, they are all doing very suspiciously similar designs for their games and the interoperability of their, you know, trifecta of games. And it's to the point where I'm like, they're all doing it, so there's not really a lot of harm. It's really just pick your favorite flavor and hope to God that that's the one that everyone else picks. I really like Illuvium. I love the visual style. Like it's like this is very cheerful and cute, but like the swamp is just spooky and terrifying. But it has this sort of like charming cartoonish vibe about it, whilst also having an odd type of realism to it. So now this is the fun part, right? We've gotten to the highest point in the entire game, and now we're just gonna squirrel suit all the way back to the beginning, and it's just gonna be a great time. Yeah, they're all sort of crowdsourcing from one another in this big like think of it as the original internet, right? This is the thing about when stages of the internet progress. Okay? So in I guess you could call it Web 1, right? Back before really like the World Wide Web, the internet was a project by biologists specifically, think, but scientists to use to share scientific data in order to, you know, guarantee the in order to sort of guarantee the quality of their work and ensure that there was more you know, they could reproduce each other's findings more effectively and to sort of just further the world of science. And so there was this sort of, there's a kind of a cultural history and tradition with the internet, and when it progresses at a stage, that the beginning of that is everybody sharing their ideas and the evolution of, you know, the sort of the survival of the fittest. And so I see that as like, you look at Planet Quest and Illuvium and I guess Big Time and Ember Sword and, you know, some of these big names that are doing these things, and they're all kind of like jockeying around the same like 10 ideas and sort of refining them further and further until hopefully, you know, one or two in the greater sphere of Web3 emerge and everyone's like, oh, this is how it's done. Then it really kicks off from there. That's, I think, that's the legacy of the internet. Well, let's take this dive. This is always a good time. Y'all ready for this? Here we go.
will that bubble just keep gradually rising higher and higher?
Oh yeah.
Eventually.
The bubble
Okay.
goes all the way to the top before it pops, I think. Oh, we've run out of energy on our way down. But we made it. We were all the way up there. So if you can see it, you can reach it. And there's a whole lot left here to explore. So I think I will maybe maybe dip back into Sancta Mesa and close down the application. Maybe we'll just talk for a little bit. We've got what, an hour and a half left, something like that.
Yeah.
Sort of discuss some of the stuff. I could obviously also fire up a competitive arena game, which I would absolutely lose. But let's take some time to reflect on what we've seen, as the cool kids would say. You know, I will move us back over to the discussion stage. And if we want to do some more with the survival arena, I will fire that back up. And this is everybody's favorite part of the stream, where I lower my desk down and the camera slow pans down. All right.
Yeah, and guys, make sure you're liking, subscribing, and then sharing this with your friends. Doing that not only helps, the community, helps NFT to earn, but it helps each of you individually. And I'm sure that most of you understand how that works. If not, we can definitely talk about that a little bit more.
So let's think about, I mean, first, I guess, like, anybody who wants to,